Hello, Sean Byrne from Is It Really Worth It TV with FFP Productions. We are here in Riyadh for the 5 versus 5, Frank Warren's team versus Eddie Hearn's team. It's going to be an absolute roaster of an evening. But first of all, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors: Semi-Long Services, S&D Paving, LJT Car Sales, Fortune Favours Productions, and Spartan Property Services. We are here to promote you all through the week. Thank you very much. IIRWI with FFP Productions. We are here this evening with Radio Rahim. How you doing, my brother?
I am well. It's not the evening. We're in the middle of the night. We're in the middle of the desert. We're in the middle of a war. Two sides, 5v5, two promoters, Matchroom, Queensberry. We are in the middle of really the summer. It's as hot as it gets out here in Saudi. So, yes, midnight twilight heat is what we are standing in the middle of.
It's going to get a little bit warmer tomorrow night.
I should say so. It's going to be on fire tomorrow night. You hear that? Those are people like lit up from the weigh-in here. I saw it pretty contentious up there. We saw some really intense stare downs already.
I've seen a few surprising things. Deontay's weight.
Well, I know he's a smaller heavyweight, and I think the weight actually is good for him because he's going to need to move around on Zhang. He's going to need to make Zhang stay working the whole fight. We saw him sluggish. I mean, Zhang last time out, he seemed to have his feet in the sand. So if Deontay intends to press the action and keep the big man moving on his feet and maybe tire him out early in the fight, I think that's a good strategy. So I'm not concerned. He's not going to be bigger than Zhang, so you might as well go smaller.
And the punches will be a lot sharper too.
Let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, the man's a sharpshooter, though. He's a sniper. He's got a sniper rifle, but I think he might need a little, AK-47 action too. He's gonna need some pepper, another jab. He's gonna go upstairs, downstairs, but all that comes off of his feet. I think this time he can't stand in front of Zhang. Joe Joyce proved that. So yeah, Deontay's gonna have to ironically be the boxer on Saturday night.
Okay, that one's out the way. Let's go Hrgovic, Dubois. How do you think that's gonna go?
I gotta tell you, it's tough because Dubois, I really like this guy. He's like a sweet kind of gentle soul. Yeah. But he's also obviously a warrior, and he is capable, and he's got a lot to prove. Last time out, I think his family was there. He showed his mettle. He got through a tough fight, a war of attrition. Miller wouldn't go anywhere, and Dubois stood there with him and got that TKO. So that meant a lot to him, but now it's time to prove that just wasn't a one-off on the night. That's time to prove that a guy maybe who has better skills than Miller is also somebody that Dubois can match up against and beat, not just with attrition, not just with punch and power, but also with skills and technique, because that's what Hrgovic is going to bring to the show. And now we know that this is, an eliminator for the IBF title. So we're looking at a world championship right there outside of their grasp. And that fight brings Joshua at Wembley in just a few months. That's a huge stage. It's a lot of money. That's a spotlight that they both really, really want and desire and have earned if on Saturday night they could be victorious. So there's a lot hanging in the balance just for those two as individuals tomorrow night, not just to mention that they're almost at the top of the card. By then we'll kind of have an idea of how the team is shaking out, and there's probably going to be a lot of pressure on one of them to win and give their team an edge going into the final fight.
Okay, that's the two heavyweights out of the way. Let's move on to Shiraz against Damo.
I don't know. Shiraz, I think, being a long fighter, being very confident and young, he probably on Saturday night needs to make that statement. He needs to prove that what we've been saying about him is true. He's right in the middle of the card, so it's going to be a lot of energy right there. It's going to be a lot of all right, which way is this thing rocking? And if he can be the guy that gives him the momentum, he's the guy in the middle of the relay, right, with the baton. If he can get a smooth pass off, then I think he gives the momentum to his team to keep on smoking right through the finish line.
Okay. Let's move on to Ray Ford, Nick Ball. This fight is really tickling me. This is going to be a war.
That's the one. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any losers in that fight. It's just going to be a guy who did a little bit better than the other one. Nick Ball, is coming all balls out, if you will. He's coming straight forward. He feels like he was denied something that he deserved last time out. He feels like this should be a unification fight, not just him still trying to grasp for that first world title. And Ray Ford feels like, this kid is knocking on his door and he really owns the house. This is not a unification bout. This is not an equal matchup in Ray Ford's mind. I think he thinks he's going to show just how many levels above Ball he is. He thinks Ball's maybe a one-dimensional fighter and he's going to go out there and show up and show out. So the question is, who's right? What does Ball really bring to the table? Is there more from him than just a come forward, styled fighter that is definitely there to win, but maybe doesn't have as many tools in his arsenal as he's needed to face a guy like Ray Ford. If he does have those tools, he will need them tomorrow night, and he's going to have to pull them out, and he's going to have to convince Ray Ford that they're sharp and ready.
Yeah, he was a little bit unlucky his last fight against Vargas. Do you think that's going to step his game up for Ray?
No, I think it makes him feel like he's been denied something he deserves, and that stokes everybody's fire. It has to be something that proves to the fans and the promoters and the networks that this guy's a marquee fighter, that this guy is world champion caliber, even if they denied him the strap. Tomorrow night's the night where he has to prove that that is true, and it's not just a guy whining and moaning about a fight that he thinks he should have won, but ain't a real world champion class fighter.
Yeah. So the last one I'm going to, this is intriguing me as well, Willie Hutchins, Craig Richards.
Yeah, I mean, Father Time is undefeated, you know, a guy who's coming in really with more experience.
But he's had time in this camp. He's had a good camp. He's with Shane. Shane's going to wind his strength up.
I'm not saying that this guy is some dog coming in, but I am saying that we will find out if Saturday night is the difference between a young fighter and an older fighter, a guy who has that burning fire and has that youth and exhilarance to him that can wane as you go through this fight game, you know, regardless of trainer, regardless of how good you are. Sometimes just a good young guy beats a good older guy. So we got to find out if it's an experience that is going to be the difference, or if it's going to be age, and those are two different things.
Yeah, Willie's really up for this. He's gagging to get in there and get at it. I can see that being a bit of fireworks, but let's move on to Bivol.
Well, let me give Willie a little more credit, just so you don't think that I'm saying that's the only thing that matters. Like, listen, he's speaking like a veteran, and he seems focused, and even in the stare down, he looked relaxed. He looked like he knew what he came to do today and tomorrow. So that experience is not nothing. I mean, this guy, I think, also has, like everybody on the card, something to prove. But tomorrow night will be the night either he gets old in front of us, or we find out that this guy has a lot more length in the tooth than we thought.
Yeah. Let's move on to Bivol.
Yeah.
I'm itching for this. But I don't think Bivol's overlooking this kid at all. This is a dangerous boy.
Nah, he's not overlooking him because he's a veteran, and he understands exactly how dangerous a fight game is, and everybody in this sport is dangerous to some degree. This guy is coming in off a 1 month camp, which might be better than a whole 3 month camp and a build up and enough time for him to get into his head.
He'll still be sharp from Australia.
Not only that, but he's a wild card. You can't really train for him in a month, and the kid can't really get the jitters proper in a month's time. Yeah. He's just stepping into an opportunity. He's stepping into a huge spotlight, a major opportunity he didn't see coming, and he probably believes that if anybody can do it on Saturday night, it's him, because nobody expects him to do so. There's no pressure. There's no great anticipation. There's no expectation, really, from him. Yeah. So anything he does, even early, if he has success and he starts to feel it and get the momentum and the crowd starts to get on his side, and we just want to see a good fight, you know, no matter what. So if he can put up one early and start to get that confidence going, and people start to wonder, well, I don't know if this guy bringing more than I thought he had, well, then we might end up in a real fight. And let me tell you something else. The boxing gods, man, they doth have a sense of humor. And whenever the undisputed is on the horizon, I'm always worried that something crazy is going to derail it. Anything, a strong wind can derail an undisputed fight in boxing. So this guy is much more than a strong wind. And I hope on Saturday night that the best man wins, but I'm not writing anybody off.
Going to be a great night.
It's going to be a great night. Tonight's a great night. Anytime I talk to you, it's a great night, mate.
My brother.
You know what I mean?
Rahim,
FFP, let's go!
God bless you, Rahim. Thank you very much, my brother.
We'll see you over in Ireland. You know,
we're going. God bless, man. Take care.